I don't think so.
All right. So we are live right now. Let me modify this a little bit. I had some new commentators in last night that moved my stuff around. Hi guys, this is Eric Anderson. We're at Poker House Live, and I've got Megan Sellers with me. How are you doing, Megan?
What's up? I'm doing good. I'm excited.
So this is a video of a final table that we did pre-Thanksgiving. Before I went back home to Minnesota, we recorded a bunch of cash games and final tables just so they would have them on hand to stream for when I was gone.
Right.
Now, while I was gone, I was working with the programmer from Australia, and we fixed the problem that we had with the cameras glitching. And after we fixed that, we never went back and broadcast these final tables. So I found this one when I was with Eli and Rodrigo when we were broadcasting in Spanish, and I was showing them what options they had to commentate on, and I found this one and I went, wow, I forgot about this. Dusted it off, asked Megan, who is fresh off her final table at WSOP in Choctaw.
Yeah.
What event was that?
So it was just a nightly deep stack.
Okay.
It was their nightly game. It had
Was it still a WSOP, or was
yes.
that just a okay?
Yes. It was a WSOP sponsored event. I think it had roughly 180 entries, and I got third.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's great.
So that was fun.
I'm not. That's excellent. What was it? $100 buy-in?
$130.
$130. Same as this one.
Yeah.
So this is a $125 buy-in.
Yep.
Deepstack Turbo that we run every Sunday at Poker House here. We run. Anyway, that's what this is. 30K starting stack, 15-minute levels.
Very much a turbo.
Exactly. And people make fun of me and go, well, Deepstack Turbo, that's kind of like a oxymoron.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's for people who are basically recreational players who want to come in on a Sunday. They don't want to sit here for 6, 7, 8 hours and grind, but they want a lot of chips.
Yep.
So we give them 30K starting stack instead of the 20K that we normally give them. And we do 15-minute levels instead of 20 minutes like we normally do. So it averages about the same. Excuse me. But I think it's a lot of fun.
It is
you get a lot of chips to play with.
Yes, and that's one of my favorite things. I'm still a little bit new to the poker world where real money is involved, and so I like a deeper stack right now. It makes me more comfortable.
And you can 3-bet and fold.
Exactly.
You still have options.
Yes.
And then when you get to the final table, you have a lot of big blinds. Like specifically right now, you have 170,000 chips, which is 84 big blinds, which is a huge amount of chips at the final table.
Yes.
The people down at the end, Billy Two-Pair, Mark, Grith, they've got 16, 18, 19 big blinds, which is pretty standard for a final table. And those are the short stacks at this final table. We are at 1,000, 2,000 with a 2,000 big blind ante. I'm just going to click on live stream, broadcast this. I'm going to click over here and hit play, and we can just commentate on it.
Yeah, let's go.
And
I don't remember how this one ends, so this will be good to kind of watch how I did.
Yeah. It's only an hour and a half long.
Okay.
And
Turbos move fast.
So you're going to see me walking around out there kind of like producing it. And Min is running Action Tracker.
And there's Captain Underpairs to my right.
Yes. That's the first day you met him, right?
That is the first day I met him.
I think this is a tournament where I first met you and you busted me.
Yes, that is this tournament.
Yes. Okay.
You and I had, I think it was a boat over boat situation.
Yeah,
where I busted
it was, yeah.
And there was a couple of times in this same tournament where you and I had the same hand.
Yep.
And we caught each other with the same hand.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
And I didn't realize quite how important you were, or that you even worked here.
At the time.
I was educated very quickly on that one.
You're like, who's that guy?
I know he's from Minnesota.
Yeah. Captain Up is my buddy. That's Poker Monkey in the chat. So right over here is the chat, and this is everything they see.
Oh, okay, perfect. This is a cool little setup in here.
Yeah. I'm going to give away.
Mark with a heck of a flop right there.
Yeah, Mark. This is Billy Two Pair in the 5-seat.
Okay.
He wants to be called.
Oh, okay.
Billy
Got it.
Anderson's his name. No relation. But they just... And Daryl bets 6K. Just if it checks around to the flop, he fires 6K at it. Mark's got this board wrapped up.
Sure does.
He min raises it to 12. And Daryl there in the 3-seat lets it go.
Good fold.
I love he just leads out. You know, he's going, if everybody's going to check, I'm going to represent this
Might
ace.
as well, yeah.
Poker Monkey, I think you were here. This was right before Thanksgiving. We got some guys in the chat, so I'm going to jump on here and give away some points. You can see me in the background watching to make sure everything's good. You can see Min running Action Tracker.
This was before y'all got the fancy headsets.
Yes. Yeah, so Luke Dealing has to tell Min all the actions. Min tries to follow along.
Yep.
Now, it looks like the 2-seats or the 1-seat's already busted, so we might be down to...
Oh, wow.
We might have busted 2 people in the same hand coming to the final table. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Billy Two Pair with pocket tens. Cup, Robert, Captain Underpair, pocket kings. Megan was 7-4. She's not going to get involved.
I sure hope not.
Picking a bad time to make a move.
Whoa, wow.
He makes it a really big raise.
Yeah, he does.
I think that is player dependent. If he thinks Billy's raising, he knows Billy's a more conservative player. And if he's raising, he's got a good hand.
Yeah.
And if he's got a good hand, Cup says he already put in a third of his stack. Let me just get the rest of it and clear out the field.
Yep.
Get rid of them raggedy aces. And they are 10s against kings off to the races.
Yep.
Oh, this is when we first got the overhead camera, so I'm teaching Luke how to run it. And he's like, I haven't even pulled in the pot yet. I'm like, oh, sorry, Luke, that's my fault. That's my fault. I was like, hey, make sure you pull in the cards now because we finally got an overhead flop. And he's like, give me a second.
You were excited for the new
I
camera.
was very excited.
Mr. Stream over here. Professional. No clubs.
So we had the overhead camera, but I didn't have it set up yet.
Oh, okay. Let's say, so where's the overhead?
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? Why didn't it work? Since then, I've programmed it so that the overhead camera, instead of just being a random camera, will show up every time there's flop action.
Oh, that's cool. So you see the cards clearly.
Yeah. That's if you've been watching the stream in the last couple of months, you'll notice that.
Yeah, I tell you what, these streams have gotten quite sophisticated, sir.
Yeah. Oh,
Very
thank you.
fun to watch.
Yeah, we've come a long way. A lot of work. We hit a stall trying to get those cameras to work.
Right.
For September, October, November, for about 3 months, we were struggling with that. And it was a software glitch from the Poker GFX. And once we fixed that, then everything just got better
Yeah, it all fell into place.
And practice makes perfect. We brought on some big cash games with. See here, look at how bad those profile pictures are. Back then, I took an actual profile picture
like of the whole.
and then I realized all I want is their face.
Yeah.
I can't see what that is. So if you've been watching for the last 3 months, you've seen the evolution of Poker House Live
For sure.
streaming and how much better it's gotten. Just stuff that we've added, and the software is continually evolving. If you watched just Monday, you saw it crash when the software came out with a new update and he coded one line wrong.
Yes.
And so we couldn't get any thing on delay.
That was that night Kim was here, right?
Kim was here.
Yeah,
She put up a
Kim and
really
Eddie.
good lineup,
Yeah.
and we had to actually commentate live with no hole cards.
Yeah.
That was just the what we were doing. So I'm actually in the booth right now. We're not streaming. I'm just doing the production, making sure everything works.
That it was recording,
so
right?
yeah, and I can click a button. Like right now, we can't do anything. When we're watching live, I can pull up whatever stat you want. Hey, what's this guy's VPIP?
Okay.
What's this guy's chip stack? I can do all that.
Yes.
So back then, I was doing it knowing that the commentator is going to need this information, so I'm going to give them what's the stack size, what's the, every once in a while I'm going to pull up something for us. So we can't do it from here live because this happened months ago, but
it is cool to see those statistics on the live.
Yeah.
The live runs though.
Ace Jack raised to 8,000 in early position. Andrew calls from the hijack, and then Mark defends from the cutoff. And it comes out deuce 5-6. Nobody hits a piece of this board. You're just going to continuation bet. 29,000 in the pot. You bet 12,000 and get 2 snap folds. Is that kind of what you were expecting?
Yeah, I didn't
kind of
think
what you were
any of
hoping.
us. Yeah, I didn't think any of us hit it, and I was hoping my high hand was higher than the ones next to me.
Right on. Huge chip lead, 200,000 nearly. Robert's the closest one with about 75% of your stack.
And if I remember correctly, I think he rocks this stack pretty hard.
He does, Cup. It says Robert on the screen, but in the chat, you know him as Captain Underpairs.
And he has I remember that day I noticed his card protector. I thought it said Captain Underpants, but obviously it says Captain Underpairs, and I thought that was the coolest thing. Catching some decent hands here.
Yeah, Queen Jack under the gun, limping. What do you think about that limping
I've gotten better
range?
about that. I used to be bad about limping, and I should have raised. In the way I play now, I would have raised.
And Marco's
just a minimum,
all in.
probably, but.
And had you made it, let's say 5K, which would have been totally reasonable, you would have lost that much. The other thing people do incorrectly is raise too much and then have to fold.
Sure.
Like I would see people at 1,000, 2,000 make it in a recreational setting like this, make it, 6,000 or 8,000, and then fold when Mark jams. Yeah. And so they're losing that much more equity. Frosty Nug Farms, he is a Canadian who's heading to the Bahamas next week to play the PSPC.
Oh, that's exciting.
Poker Stars Poker Challenge, I think it is. 10K buy-in, I think.
No, it looks like one. Stephen
He asked me if I was an Aggie.
Oh.
My college ring looks a lot like Texas A&M.
All right.
College ring.
That's true.
I get that question all the time. Good fold, Megan.
Good fold. Good fold. I sent messages to Cup to see if he wanted to jump on here and commentate with us, and he didn't respond. So he's a over the road truck driver.
Oh, okay.
And he's got like a partner, and they drive from 25K buy-in. Thank you, Frosty. Not a 10K buy-in. It's a 25K buy-in. Did you win your seat? They give away. PokerStars gives away a lot of seats. I awarded one in 2018, I think. With the Mid-States Poker Tour, we gave one away.
Wow. And it's in the big game is in the Bahamas?
Yeah, it's in the Bahamas.
Wow.
It's a huge, huge game. And that's why it's such a good value for people to go to, because they give away so many to recreational players that there's still a really good value. It's kind of like playing a 10K main event, where I would never buy into a 10K tournament and play against 10K players, but I would play against the main event with all those recreational players. Frosty says he won a free roll, and then he won 2 other multi-table tournaments.
Nice.
On PokerStars, right? because that's legal in Canada. Megan just has the best hand with king high. Check, check. Robert bet 2K. What are you thinking? You think king high is just good
You know,
at that spot,
I think I just didn't believe him.
right? And he fires again.
Yeah, and
Now
I
it's
think I
hard to
believe
call
him.
with
Yeah.
with no pair.
Yeah,
You know,
I think I was just chasing it at that point because I had kind of the gut shot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A gut shot and a king, and we just don't believe him when he doesn't bet the
Right.
flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, Poker Stars, 400 platinum passes. That's what they were called. 400 platinum passes, $25,000 tickets were given away.
Wow.
And that's about a third of the field are recreational players who win their way into this
Okay.
tournament. The guy who won ours actually did quite well.
Right?
Yeah, and it's a freeze out, so the guys,
Oh, okay.
Daniel Underground, who
So
can't fire
you're out.
9 bullets.
Yeah, right.
And he does
That's
that, and he
cool.
says, no, that's
Yeah.
my tournament strategy.
Yeah.
And I spent $1.2 million in this tournament, but I won it in $6 million.
Yeah.
So who's the idiot?
Right. Right. I appreciate a freeze out tournament, because then those folks who have their pockets padded can't just keep playing crazy.
Exactly. I do understand that. What we did is we allowed one reentry per flight on
Okay.
and we would have like 2
And I like
flights.
that too.
That it was an $1,100 buy-in, and if you drove 6 hours to get there and flopped a straight and somebody sucked out with a flush or
Yeah.
something,
Right.
you have to go home now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I
we
appreciate
let
the
you
second
have
chance.
one reentry, so you can't just rapid fire
Right.
multiple, but you could fire one time.
Sure. Yeah. That's kind of the way the main works at Choctaw. I think you get one option per day
Okay.
to come in again.
All right. Now you've got another gut shot. You check it. Andrew in the big blind. Oh. All right.
Uh-oh.
Min messed up, so he's like, oh wait, what happened? Hold on a second. It wasn't. Let me back this all up. So he has to back up all of the action.
Oh, okay.
And then redo it. He had the wrong person folding. So it wasn't. It was Mark who called, and now he doesn't know Mark's hand because when he said fold, the computer
erased
folded
it.
his hand.
Okay, got it. Oh, he's all in.
So yeah, so he goes all in. What we can do, let's do this. I'm gonna go backwards, 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 backwards. This is neat. So he actually has Andrew in the pot when it's Mark. So Mark has ace nine.
9, okay.
Okay. Now let's fast forward. I'm going to see what happens here. So he accidentally has Mark fold. Mark raised, and he went fold. Luke is probably the quietest dealer you've ever had. And
Yes.
so you could see Mark raise there to, it looks like 2,000. Or Mark limped. You raised
I
to
raised.
11K.
Yep.
Andrew folds and Mark calls. That's what happened. So he's got ace 9, remember. It comes out 8-9
top
tray.
Top kicker. Okay.
You check from the small blind. He shoves. We know he has ace 9. And now Min goes, wait, what just happened? Let me fix this. There we go. So that's neat that we can rewind it. If
That
this
is,
was
yeah.
if this was live, we would go,
Would've
I
just
don't know what
lost it.
happened.
Yep.
And a lot of this is really dependent on the guy running the action tracker. Has to be super attentive.
Right.
And can't make mistakes. Otherwise, this happens.
Sure. And when it's loud in that room,
Yep.
it's hard.
The headphones now, where I can actually talk to the
Yes.
dealers,
So
make it
nice.
so nice.
And I know I'm using my stack as
Yeah. Oh,
comfort
yeah.
here,
For sure. For
you know,
sure. I'm surprised you checked that flop. You raised it to 11K pre-flop. I'm really surprised you checked.
I've learned a lot since November, which is kind of funny to go back and watch.
And
Or not, it's interesting to see.
So
kind of
here's the
progress.
thing that I was just talking about. 2K blinds, you have one limper. You make it 11. That's like
I was a little too
5x.
much. Yeah.
And it should have worked.
Yeah.
Right? Because the big blind folds and he calls you with ace 9. That's a huge bet to call with
It
ace
is.
9. But he's in position and it's closing action, so I
Right.
don't necessarily hate it.
Yep. That was a good move.
And then he flops top pair,
yeah.
and you check it, and then he shoves.
Yeah, I didn't represent that
Right.
that raise at all.
I think somebody got confused. They said, "Oh, there's no table 11."
I do remember Daryl
Yeah.
really picked his spots on this final table.
Daryl's a great player.
He really is.
This is not his first final table. We've had him on the stream before.
He's fun to play with too.
And another aspect that people watching need to remember is this is a turbo, 15-minute levels.
Yeah.
So we can't sit around
There's
and
no
wait
playing
for
around.
hands.
Yeah.
You've got a great stack now. In 15 minutes, the blinds
It
go
could
up.
totally
In 30
change.
minutes, the blinds go up.
Yeah.
45 minutes, the blinds go up.
Yep.
So, I think this whole tournament, this whole final table lasts like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was a quick
45
game.
minutes. And that's what it's designed to be. It's a small $125 tournament.
Called it all in here. Pocket sixes.
And you're probably thinking, I'm flipping, and I've got
Yep.
200K, and this guy's got 30K. It's 15% of my stack.
Yep.
Let's just go here. And you were correct on all aspects. He needs a king or a jack in the top right corner. You can see he thinks he has 6 outs. 3 of them were folded,
Yeah,
so he's only got
all
3
of our
outs.
kings are pretty much gone.
Yeah, the king, the jack of spades, the king of clubs, and a 4. Now he's still needs a king or a jack. Doesn't hit it. Full house, but your full house is better.
Yeah.
So you eliminate Griffith in 7th place, I think. Add to your stack.
It was definitely an opportunity to get somebody off the table, I think, is
Yeah.
what I was kind of looking at there.
Yeah.
And it would
And
debilitate me.
You do have a huge chip stack. Let's look at your stack here. I have it set up to automatically show 107 big blinds at a final table with 7 players left, 215,000 chips. Huge chips. Even the short stacks have over 20 big blinds
Yep.
at the final table. That's just very deep.
It is very deep.
But it's no limit poker, and anything can happen.
Big stack at the final table means absolutely nothing. In this kind of game, at least.
For sure, for
In
sure.
this kind of tournament. Can change on a dime.
What was that?
I said, did he ask if I had 8s?
No. When I called him, what did he say? I thought he asked if I had 8s.
I think he said something that was kind of snarky. Or at least I took it that way.
Oh, an 8.
An ace. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Got it. I misunderstood whatever he said as soon as I turned over those 6s in that last hand. 9-10. I feel like that shouldn't have been a limp, but I do go ahead and limp in. Mark calls, option checks. To a flop we go. Let's see. Flop 2 pair here.
7 bets 8. Fold.
Oh, a bunch of snap folds.
3.
Paying out 3 places in this one.
Yeah, this was right before Thanksgiving, so it was
Yeah, it
kind of
was a
small. There was
smaller
only
one.
19
Yeah.
players. I think that's why I jumped in,
Yeah.
because it was so small. I just wanted to help boost the prize pool.
Yeah.
And you immediately eliminated me. So good job, you. I'm gonna go share this and tag you. Is this you?
That is me.
Perfect.
Oh, raise. King, queen off. And Mark, I started to notice he would bet large on, or make large calls on cards that weren't necessarily what I would deem
that didn't
to be
make
great
sense.
hands. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but
what are
and
you
I mean,
doing?
this one obviously is I would call as well with King Jack, but so I was it made me kind of wonder.
Sometimes you just want to call light just to see what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can get a cheap enough price and just buy information.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm no good right now, but what's this guy doing?
Yes, exactly.
And here you hit. This is a great flop for you.
Yep.
Top pair, king kicker, flush draw.
Yep.
I mean, you just are all over that board. He needed like a.
He needed a lot.
Yeah. I think he had a gut shot that couldn't be a club.
Right. Oh, see, here it is. I told you when I recognized his card protector.
Oh, yes.
That just happened. I said, Captain Underpants. He knows no. Captain Underpairs. That's even better.
Nice. He's such a great guy.
He
too.
is. He is a great guy. He's so kind and so fun, and he's a great player, too. And last time I pulled up in the parking lot here, when he was here, I saw he has
His big van?
Yes, I saw his van, and he has like a windshield protector with his Captain Underpairs logo on it, which is so fun. I said, hey, I know him. David flopping top 2 pair here. Robert came in with 7-5. That's interesting.
He was in the big blind.
Oh, was
in
he?
a limp
Okay,
pot.
hello.
See right here.
Yep, right there. Yep, under the gun, big blind, small blind. Well, that makes sense. We just let him.
Yeah, you limped in with
Yep.
4s, and then everybody just kind of limped in. Once you had 3 people in, it was easy for David to come in, and then David, all Cup could do is check and go, okay, I guess I'm
Yeah,
not folding.
okay. Might as well see a flop if everybody's in a limp around you. Get out of there. Oh no. Am I going to call? Get out of there, Megan.
Well, you don't believe he has a 10,
No, I don't.
and
But I
do
know
you
an
really
8
have
also,
an 8?
Yeah. I definitely don't believe him at the moment.
All in is huge, but the other thing is you get to see both cards for the 35,000.
Yeah.
There's 60 in the pot. I'm trying to justify if you do make this horrible call.
Thanks for trying to help me.
You're getting 2 to 1. You know, it's 23,000 to call. There's 62 in the pot. You're getting almost 3 to 1.
I call.
You do
wow.
call. And you need a 4, and you can spare it. You still have 66
Yeah,
big
and I think that's
blinds.
probably where my logic was. It's another opportunity to get up to the money.
And you're like, man, if he's just firing because everybody checked,
Right.
and
Yeah.
jacks and 8s are better. Jacks and 10s, 8 kicker, chop it. Chop it.
Oh, there we go.
And you were probably thinking, if it comes out jack, jack, I'll just chop it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
exactly.
That's
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, good thought
for
process
sure.
there.
It was a bad call, but I got my money back.
Was this your first final table appearance?
I want to say it was, yeah. Because as you were going around explaining to us how it worked, I was very much paying attention. I think this was one of my first, if not the first.
All right. Well, I
streak
just
that I
shared. I just posted on Poker House and then shared it.
Oh, cool. Let me go.
So that you
make
can
sure that it's.
you can go share for your friends. I tagged you so your friends might see it, depending on what your privacy settings.
Yeah,
are
no,
set for.
I have it to where I have to approve it, but I'm gonna approve it right now, so it shows up.
Normally is. I don't know. Sometimes you can with us down.
Another thing we can do is just go skip 30 seconds ahead,
Let's do it.
and
On to
so
the next.
when he starts shuffling, we can just skip that part.
Beautiful.
Now you're in the small blind. No, you're in the big blind now because Cup was just in the big blind. So the button moves around. I just get a kick out of how much better we've gotten in just 3 months.
Isn't it something?
A lot of limping in this game. A lot of limping. We're at 2,000, 3,000 with a 3,000 big blind ante. Queen 10 limps, ace 6 limps, king 7 limps from the small blind, and then you just check with queen 3. Now this is a range that nobody calling is going to hit, so you just fire at it.
Yep.
You go, this is I've got 2 pair.
Yep. I think it
on a
might
board
have the
where
best
nobody
hand.
has a deuce.
Yeah.
So nice situational awareness there, and you pick up another pot. Which is why I don't like limping.
Yep.
If Daryl or Andrew or Mark or any of those guys just min raises, you fold.
I'm out. Yeah.
And they pick up the pot.
Yep.
So.
And that's something I've learned too here in the last 2 or 3 months, just with how much I've been able to play here.
How long have you been playing?
So I started free rolls probably 2.5 years ago.
Okay, like online or in bars?
Just in bars.
Okay.
Yeah, I always watched poker growing up with my dad, but I never really had the urge to play it until Ira, who I play here with a lot. He was like, there's free rolls around town. We should go try, and that's kind of where.
And
we
those
started.
get pretty decent.
They do. Yeah, they do.
It's a good place to start if you
It
don't
is.
have a bankroll. And $125 that this tournament isn't a lot of money,
No.
but if I'm learning, I don't want to fire $300, $400, $500 learning how to play this game.
Exactly.
Daryl limps in.
Pocket threes.
You're in the small blind with 2 9s.
And 9s is one of my preferred pocket pairs.
You like that,
Not
huh?
that it makes much sense logistically.
No, you make it
It is,
12K, which I really like that bet size with Daryl limping, making it a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking, let's make it 6, 7. When it's 3, just over a min raise. Now here's that glitch I was telling you about. I'm in the booth and I immediately fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Where the cameras would lock up.
Yep.
But on a delay, we wouldn't know that for 15 minutes,
Right.
and so it would be stuck like
it'd be
that for
stuck,
15
okay.
minutes.
Yeah.
And it was really unwatchable. So I said, I'm going to record it. I'm going to sit here and watch it. I can't see the whole cards, and now he needs an ace or a queen to chop it. A 3 will do him no good. And you have the best hand right
Yep.
now. He would have made it known if he had an ace or a queen on the flop.
Yeah, and I know that
When
from
you checked
Daryl
it to
too.
him.
He typically will.
He's pretty open. He's
is.
not really sneaky
No,
and tricky and doesn't try to trap
And I
you.
respect his betting
Yep.
because of that.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
he would have thrown something out there,
When
I
he
would've been-
has a bet, you're like, okay,
Yep.
he called me with ace jack or something,
Yep.
and I lose, and now you're drawing dead. Yeah, so that worked out.
They have chips in them, right?
Yeah, this was definitely one of my first times on this
and,
table.
and now they're asking about how the technology works.
Yep.
I mean,
They're definitely wider, yeah.
now the fun thing is, this is the official poker size card. Every card room I've ever been to uses bridge cards.
Okay, so that's why.
And that's what you're used to.
Yep.
And these are poker size cards.
So this is the norm. The
This
cards on the
it's
final table.
yes, on a
both.
live stream final
Yeah.
table, this is what all of the companies I've used use poker size cards. But every card room on their regular tables uses a bridge size card
Yeah,
because
which
they're
are
smaller.
significantly smaller. Yeah.
It's considerably smaller. Like, I mean, we're measuring it in quarters of in
Right.
in fractions of an inch, but
Right.
then we're going, wow, that's significantly bigger.
But when you're trying to look at cards
Yeah.
and not have anyone else see them,
Yeah.
that little bit makes a difference. Mark pushed on me with his king, which was a
Yeah,
good move.
top pair,
Yeah.
short stacked. He'll add 6,000
Yeah.
or 6 big blinds to his stack, and that's you've got position on captain under pairs, who is probably the most experienced player at this table.
Which
so that's
I
a
had
great spot
no
for you.
clue at the time. So that was, I've learned a lot about him since
Yeah.
this table.
I mean, he's. I've talked to him at length. He's a very thinking player,
Yeah, he's a great player.
and he's fun on the live streams. He brings a whiteboard,
I saw that.
and
Last time I was there, a couple times ago when I was here, he was on. I think it was a cash game. You were streaming.
he plays on Mondays. We do a 1-2 with a $500 max buy-in
That's
to
what it was.
let the recreational players in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super fun to watch. Last night when we had $100,000 on the table with 5K
Wow.
buy-ins, and they were playing 5, 10, 25, 50 for their blinds, 4 blinds.
Yeah,
It's super fun to watch that.
I bet.
I can never play it. I can't play in that game. I can't afford that game.
No, I don't want to afford that game. And see, I'm still kind of intimidated by cash. I am not the best cash player yet.
What I love about cash, and see how it locks up here, and I immediately fix it again. What I love about cash is if I make a mistake, I can just go, okay, I've learned, and I can buy back in and keep playing.
Yeah.
Or in a tournament, if I make a mistake,
Yeah,
I'm done.
you're behind.
So I really tighten up in a tournament. Other people do the exact opposite, and they know since I'm tight, they're going to be more aggressive, and they play their cash games differently. And for cash, they go, "This is real money. I'm going to play
Yeah.
it tighter." Where it just depends on who you play and find out who you're playing against.
Sure. In this specific hand here, I do remember thinking, I wish he would have not bet. Well, I guess I don't because he saved me. But he would have got more out of me if he would have just put half his stack in there.
Right.
I would have called.
Instead of shoving. And now, so Min is going back. He messed up the action, so he's yeah. And
We
it's
were still learning here. We were
Right.
still figuring all
Right.
of this out.
yeah. And there the cameras are locked up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And-
You can see two different angles.
Because it's in the fade. What used to happen was the cameras are controlled by the software.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's on 5's action, that camera is programmed.
Oh,
so
I
when
see.
when 6 folds, it goes to 7.
Yep.
And if you go too fast, then the software transition locks up and
Yeah.
it just freezes. And I have to press a button to
To
continue.
reset everything.
So we fixed the transition so it doesn't do that anymore.
Nice.
But it took us months to figure that out. I mean, like a year.
Yeah.
Because this was a problem that, and not to pat myself on the back, but when I'm running Action Tracker, I've been doing it for 10 years.
Right.
I don't make these mistakes
Yeah.
as often.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen to me as often. I just like once or twice a stream, it would lock up and we didn't know why.
Right.
And when these guys, when I was teaching them how to run Action Tracker, they made mistakes all the time. So they were constantly backing up and going forward and it would lock up. I'm like, wow, this is really weird. And then I found out it's going too fast is what makes it lock up.
Yeah.
Megan with the pocket sevens.
Pocket sevens.
In the hijack. Under the gun, Robert, Cup, makes it 10K, which is just over 3x the big blind with a suited king. And that kind of handcuffs you. You're like, well, geez, I've got a pair. I'm not going
Right.
to fold, but I really don't want to raise.
Right.
Against Cup,
Exactly.
when I got 10 guys behind me.
Yes, and I know his raise is typically representative of some kind of decent
Right.
hand.
And then when you call Andrew, I don't love Andrew's call.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have
because
made that
he's I do in a cash game
call. Okay.
when I'm deeper, when I have 100 big blinds to work with.
Yeah.
I love seeing a flop with a 5-6 suited, but not when I've got 8 big blinds. I don't want to put 3 of them in. He had 11, now he's down to 8. And then David comes along and calls. Well, he already had a big blind in, so he was only costing him 2 more.
Wow.
But I still don't love it. Now the ace freezes everybody.
Yep.
Because Robert's going, what are you guys all calling with? If somebody's got an ace and you're just trapping, now I think they just check again.
I bet he represents.
He
Yep.
should. It's a good time for
Yep.
you. Could have stole that one as soon as he checked the flop.
Could have.
you could have stolen it.
Yep.
But you're probably thinking the same thing. Andrew might have called with an ace. David
Yep.
might have called with an ace. I just
And I'm not about to
done
get
with this
trapped
hand.
with these
Yeah.
sevens.
Somebody trying to get sneaky, and now I've got 2 sevens, and I just
Yeah.
put more chips in the pot. We are down to 6 players, still halfway to go to the money. We got to lose half of these players to get to the money.
And I think at this point, that's kind of where my brain is at too. Is that if I need to just let go of these
Yeah.
to get to the money, I need to just
Yeah.
let go of them.
And you took your shot a couple of times, got lucky, and
Yep.
and chopped it the one time. So it might be just like, okay, I got slapped on the wrist or slapped on the fingers
Right.
making that call.
Yep.
Got bailed out by the deck. Let's not do that
Yeah,
again.
let's calm down a little
Yeah.
bit.
Changing gears is a very important thing. David calling from the small blind with a tray 5 offsuit.
Wow.
Cup just checks an ace 8. I want to put in a substantial raise there if I'm Cup. When Daryl limps in, he's showing you he doesn't have much.
He's not much confidence.
David doesn't have anything. If he's limping in, a nice raise there, and make it bigger than normal because they both called and there's 12K in the pot. Make it like, 15K to go, and you're going to lose them both.
Yep.
When it checks around, I think Cup knows his ace high is good, and he's going to fire at
Absolutely.
it.
Yep. Oh wow. No.
The other thing you might be thinking is I've got showdown value, and now Daryl says, well, if nobody else wants it, I'm going to take it. And I like that
Yeah,
bet.
yeah.
Like, you check to me twice, I'm going to bet.
Yep.
And Cup doesn't believe him. Now Daryl's going to have to hit a
Oh,
queen
there
on the
he
river.
goes. Yeah.
So Cup's going to now represent. He's about 1 street too late. If he did that on the flop, it would have
Yep.
worked. And Daryl does hit his queen and win this pot.
Nice little chip
And the
up there.
blinds went up again. We're at 2,000, 3,000. Or 2,000. You know what? We're at 2,000, 4,000. Min did not update the stat. So because that you have to manually do every 15
Okay.
minutes. Since he didn't do it, the stack size are going to be off because
Okay.
we're physically taking out 4,000.
Oh,
and the
okay.
computer. Oh, he just fixed it.
Oh, there we go. Good
he,
job,
he
Min.
just fixed it as we were talking about it. He fixed it.
Good job, Min.
And you know why he probably realized it? Because they did a dealer change. And what I used to do, and there's our flop cam. And all right, just some background geek information. I don't have the flop cam set up back then to show on the flop. So the only time we see it is randomly.
Oh, okay.
Like, did
When
you
it
watch the stream
decides
last
to-
night?
No, I did not.
I've got a new view. Like from out in the floor, I've got a camera mounted on the ceiling, looking away from about 30 feet away from the table,
Oh,
like
that's
a
cool.
wide zoom.
Yeah.
And the only time you see that is a random when it's rotating.
Gotcha.
And that's what the flop cam was set up, so we don't see it very often until the action's all done. Like right now, we're on the 4 seat, so it shows camera 4.
Yeah.
Then we're on the 5 seat as soon as 4 acts, and so the cameras go based on whose action it is. So it's on the 7 seat, and we're on this camera. Just some fun stuff. And that's just, I didn't set up the camera correctly, the software, to look at the flop cam. Because I had just gotten it, I think I
Right.
installed it that day and was super excited to use it.
I don't know what I thought I had any business in this hand.
You're in the big blind.
Yeah.
And
No, I was the small blind, I thought. Am I the big blind?
No,
I
big
am
blind.
the big blind. Okay.
Yeah. And so,
6 bets 15,000. 7 folds.
wow, why does he bet? Get rid of the flush, the diamond draws, I guess. Now, Mark's in a really tough spot because he's
Yes.
drawing dead. And Andrew also. They both have a queen.
Yeah.
They're drawing dead if Cup has an ace.
Yeah.
And he goes, I just don't believe you have an
Yep.
ace. Now that saves Mark
I thought he turned over his cards too early.
Way to go, poker police.
Oh my God, I know.
And he
I
says,
should have just stayed out of it.
He's trying to. I do that too. I try to protect the game.
Yeah, and it's it's like he wouldn't do it on purpose.
Yes. Oh, he does have three
He
pair.
does have three pair.
Which does not
Yeah.
beat trips. So we are one step closer to the money, down to 5. I don't know. Oh, I took the down sheet. They had the down sheet at the table, and I was like, don't waste the viewers' time sitting down, especially in a 15-minute turbo.
Right.
Don't waste our time signing your down sheet.
Yeah,
Set it up here on the counter. Sign it before you sit down.
right.
Don't waste our time doing that.
Yeah.
That's one thing that annoys me. It's imperative that the players get to play. So if the dealers are slow,
Sure.
if the dealers they shuffle too slow, they mess up, something like that. It's just, as a player,
It's frustrating.
it's frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
And you might be thinking, it was 1 minute. It's not a big deal. Well, that's a hand.
Right now, that's the 1 minute and 15-minute blinds is
I need to play that hand.
Yep.
If you take 1 minute now and you do that 3 times in the level, that's just horrible.
Yep. Lose a lot of playtime
Let's see,
that way.
what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I bet.
Folding pocket. Danielle had the playlist on point that night.
That camera that we just saw is,
Is that the one you were just talking about?
yep,
Okay,
I
that's an
rotated it
awesome
90 degrees,
Yeah.
and now it's pointed at the table instead of
out on the
out
the
on
whole
the
room.
floor, which I love pointing out on the floor. When on Wednesday night when we've got 17 tables
Yes.
running, it's fun to see
Katie's
that.
game.
Yeah, that's great.
That is a great game.
7 calls, 9 folds.
Now you're calling with a king 9
You
on
know,
the button.
this is one of those things where I had to kind of lose those hands that I used to get lucky with. King 9 was one of them, and so I would want to see a flop with King
You're
9.
like, let's
always.
go. It's a
Yeah.
horrible hand,
Horrible hand.
and you're way behind Robert with ace 9.
Yep.
6 bets, 11,000.
And now you're like, I got a piece of this.
Yep.
Let's go.
Right.
I think you call now. I would float with this flop.
Yep.
7 calls, 3 folds.
It's hard to make a pair.
2 players.
I would have folded pre-flop, but as played, I would have called right there also. And now he's got to think you have a queen.
Yeah.
If he checks, I would bet.
6 checks.
And I bet I check back.
Here's where you should have bet to represent that
Yeah, I
queen.
should have,
Or
for
to
sure.
just say, my 9 is good.
Yep.
If
Which
you're
is
checking,
not-
your ace king is no good. Deny some equity out of it,
Yep.
whatever. If
Yep.
you're, and now you're going to lose more chips
Mm-hmm.
because now you really don't believe he has anything. This was just really, I think, well played by Cup and
Yep.
poorly played by Megan.
Definitely. 100%.
And I say that with love.
No, absolutely. Megan has learned a lot since this game.
Yeah.
And that's even for newer players, that's what it's about. You have to get to these spots and kind of
Exactly. I think I play that. I fold pre. I do call
Yep.
on the flop,
Yeah.
but I bet on the turn.
Yes. Yeah, and that's kind of where I've learned
What you would
too.
have done now.
Yes, exactly.
New Megan plays
New
better
Megan.
than old Megan.
She does.
And it's such an evolving game.
It is,
You'll
sure.
learn something constantly.
Every time I play, I learn something new.
What's really neat about the stream specifically is you can go back and see I messed that hand up. Now that's a hand you probably immediately forgot about and didn't learn anything from it.
And see, like right now,
6 raises to 11,000.
and I hope I get rid of this, but
Yeah.
I probably thought about it because there was a king in my hand.
Yeah, you used to go, hey, I got a king.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, which is not
It's hard to get a king.
right.
I mean, one of the best cards in the deck.
The best card. It was second best card.
I
in the deck.
mean-
No, that's
And Cup with his aggression, just picks up
Yep.
another pot.
And they're suited, but you know that's not.
He's under the gun, short-handed.
Yep.
Playing aggressive is really going to just let him win pots.
Yep.
They didn't bust the sixth place player.
Ah, okay.
So in the poker atlas, the dealer didn't. Like right at the
Gotcha, yeah,
right
on
on the
the
tray,
table, yeah.
because the clock's showing up instead of the table.
Yep.
So we know there's only 5 people. And then the blinds are going up next hand because every 15 minutes that's what happens.
Yep.
And we're going to be at 366, I think.
Moving quickly here.
3 folds.
What are the odds that Min remembers to do it after this hand?
6 calls. 2 players.
Slim, I think.
Especially if this hand takes a long time.
Yep.
All right, Mark's got a
Uh-oh.
gutter.
Yep.
6 checks.
Robert's got middle pair and does not want to make 2 pair. There, now he's taking out player 6. Good job.
Go Scott, go. I don't think that 4 changes anything for Robert. Yeah, let's see. I think he bets here.
It doesn't. You know, you're not afraid of Mark. Well, you hope he has a 4 because your 10
right.
beats him.
Exactly.
But he just picks it up. All right, now let's watch these.
His lines up. 3,066.
Good.
oh, look at Min.
He's announcing it. Does he actually type
Oh,
it in?
yeah, I guess we have to wait for that. Oh,
366. Good job, Min. Good job. Well played.
We love Min.
And now you're down to 30 big blinds. You still have
Just
almost
like that. Yeah.
You know, you went from 200 to 183, but
Yeah.
you went from 120 big blinds to 30 big
Yeah.
blinds in, what are we at? 50 minutes. So
Yeah.
in 3 levels.
That's-
The blinds have gone up 3 times since we started watching this.
3 folds.
We are in hand 23.
change on the dime.
And this is where in a structure like this, you really need to be more aggressive and
Yep.
can't sit and wait.
Yep.
6 raises to 13,000.
So Cup's doing a really good job raising with his queen 9s, his king 9s, his ace 9s. I would just maybe he just likes that 9. But
King 9 used to be a favorite of mine.
and you defend with a king deuce
Yeah,
suited.
suited.
But
I got to give myself that they were suited. But
The blinds were 6,000 and he only makes it 13,000.
Yep.
I personally like this defend because of the pot odds. Eddie says that I'm a fish, and I should definitely not be defending just because you're getting a good price if
Yeah.
you have bad cards.
and see, but I agree with you. I'm kind of like I'm already out there for 12,000
Right.
with the ante.
Yep. And there's 6 in the ante, 6 in your big blind.
Yeah.
He makes it 13, so you have to call 7. So
7.
we go 13 plus 6 is 25. I only have to call 7.
Right.
I'm getting more than 3 to 1 on my money.
Yep. And see, I'm with you on that. I do see what Eddie's saying.
I definitely do.
Because in that hand, to Eddie's point, I could have saved 7,000.
Right.
But even though I had the best hand,
You
at the
actually did
time,
flop the 2.
Cup.
But when he bets, he's representing the ace, and it's
Yes.
a good fold.
Oh yeah, no, that was a.
He just played it well.
Oh, he did for sure, which is not surprising because it's him. Give us that King 9 again.
7 calls, 8 checks, or 9 checks.
A lot of limping.
Yes, there was a lot of limping in this game, including by me.
And there's your king. That's why we call with King
Yeah.
9. I'm just kidding.
Always call with King 9, right? No, my goodness.
And you just lead right
Well,
out.
and at this point being the small blind with everybody limping, I still to this day would probably go in there.
King
with
9, everybody limping. Yeah, definitely. I would probably, come out with a raise just to thin the field. Because if you get 3 limpers, they're not that strong.
6 folds.
Well played.
Thank you. Just trying to wait out these last 2 spots.
Yeah. And you've got to, you did lose a chip lead to
I did.
Cup
Yep.
to Robert, Captain Under Pierce. Byron in the chat says, limpin' is pimpin'. I've never heard that before.
I haven't either.
Four raises
Frank
all in
has
for 20,000.
quite a few points in that chat.
Seven folds.
Yeah, those guys are crushing it. They've been here for an hour. I'm gonna give you 24 viewers that are in the chat. I'm gonna give you all 1,000 points for watching this this stream with
hanging
us.
out.
Thank you for hanging out.
Ace King suited versus pocket deuces. That's the first really decent hand Daryl's caught, I think. He's been waiting for his
He's
flop
been
for a
card
while.
dead,
And
and then he
flopped the
flops
ace
all
king.
of it.
Wow.
He still loses to a deuce. Now, you see how fast Scott went?
Yes.
We told him don't do that anymore. I mean, not him specifically, but we told the dealers, give me a second. Now
Yeah.
that's proper
Sure.
out there.
Yep.
But give me a second to talk about the action.
Yes.
When there's an all-in and a call, just give me a second to go through, especially if there's variables. Ooh, he's got a
Yeah.
flush draw now. He's got 13%.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see. You guys are paying the bubble, which I hate.
Yeah, you and Eddie
Look
have
at
taught me.
why are you guys giving Mark anything? He's got
yeah.
3 big blinds.
Yeah.
Just say, Mark, play better.
No, I
mean, that's what I do.
no, I would
go,
now too. I would now too.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, and I've gotten to where I used to chop any day of the week. I used to pay the bubble any day of the week.
Yeah,
You
you're just
guys
like,
did
hey,
it.
let's do it. We're all having
Yeah.
fun. But so you gave him $200.
Yeah,
$200.
I know. Eric.
Let's take 100 off first, 50 off second,
Yeah.
50 off third.
It was not a good. We
Just-
shouldn't have done that.
Just for no reason. If it was closer in chips,
Mm-hmm.
I still hate it. But when this guy's got 3 big blinds,
Yeah.
horrible. And not because it's Mark, but just because
No,
it's
just-
horrible.
yeah, the nature of the game for sure.
6 raises to 21,000.
Wow. Daryl did call the 6 with 8-5 off, which surprises me. I think normally he probably would have. That was a good raise by Cup there. Scooped it up.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He's got Ace Jack versus 8-5,
Mm-hmm.
and in your mind you go, "Oh my gosh, that's like a 95% favorite with Ace Jack."
Right.
But it's like a 60-40.
It is, yeah.
You know, it's really closer. And look at, I love this pre-flop raising. 30% from Megan, 30% from Cup.
See, and that's
That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about. If you're not great. Now Mark, Ace King, gets his last 3 big blinds in.
9's all in for 26,000.
And then Daryl's got a pair of 3s. He's going to call. Robert,
Ooh.
I don't blame Robert for coming in with 3 big blinds with King Queen. 3 folded. That's horrible.
I'm sorry, 6 calls, 7 folds. See him. King, queen, ace, king.
Oh, that was a horrible call. Or horrible fold, excuse
Yeah.
me, from pocket 3s.
yeah. I think I would have called with.
4-handed for 3 big blinds. That's an easy call. He needs a queen only. Doesn't get it. Pocket 3s wins.
Queens? Oh, threes. Pocket threes. Yeah.
Yeah, he should have gone in with that for sure.
No, he doesn't go all in behind you. He knows how to play a tournament. And it's collusion to say, let's check it down and bust this guy. But if you just do it,
Yeah.
like everybody knows this is a tournament strategy, let's wink, wink,
Yeah.
let's check it down. But don't say anything
No.
because you'll get a penalty.
Right.
But just know this is tournament strategy.
Yeah, you got to get some
Not
money somehow.
because it's who it is,
Right.
but because of what he has. He's got 3 big blinds. Theoretically, you all should have called,
Yep.
checked it down. One of you beats him, and now Daryl's got pocket aces. Daryl would have beat him and picked up the extra 6, 9 big blinds, whatever it is, and then you would have all been closer to the money, laddering up.
Yeah,
That's just
it's just a structure
low
of a
stakes tournament
Yeah.
structure strategy.
7 calls.
It makes it 12. You're in for 6. Well, you're in for 3. I like the call.
Yeah,
I mean, the 7-8 suited. You're way behind because he's got pocket aces.
7 checks.
And you hit an 8. This might get you in trouble.
yeah.
3 bets, 12,000. 7 folds.
Wow. good job.
I expected me to make that call.
Yeah, it was a very small
I
bet.
think the spades is probably what got me off of it.
Okay. I think the spades is what slowed him down. He looked and said, I've got aces and one red and one black. Nope, that's a club.
Yep.
The other thing is you can see Robert extending that chip lead. And you're like, man, how much more do I want to give Daryl?
Yep. And I remember slowly watching Daryl's stack grow too.
Eddie Bat, Megan is my hero.
Eddie.
Eric,
I love you, Eddie. Hiya.
hey.
3 chips. 2 players.
You feeling better, Eddie? We're
Yeah,
gonna see
I
you.
heard you were under the weather, my friend.
I know.
Haven't seen him in too long.
9 checks.
Wow.
Goes all in. And
Daryl flops an open ender and just snap shoves to get Mark off. Now, he went all in for a 96,000, but he actually went all in for 46 because that's all that Mark had left.
Ah, okay.
You know, so
Yep.
saying all in, if you have a million chips, say all in, the guy's only got 100.
Right.
You're only betting
Your bet
100.
really
You're
is.
only risking 100.
Yeah.
And that's something I would do in smaller recreational games to make it look like I'm that much stronger. Look, I'm going to bet everything, knowing I'm only risking this.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it looks so strong.
It
Like, oh my
does.
goodness, I have to fold. You're going to bet everything?
Yep. King 9.
7 calls. 9 folds.
Blinds are up in 3 minutes.
3 calls. 6 checks.
King 9 and King
3
9.
players.
And 9-6.
Oh, yeah, all the 9s.
Josh A in the chat. I played a couple hands with Megan a couple weeks ago at Choctaw
Yeah.
after they moved the last 2 tables over to the rope section. He went out in 17th. You remember that?
I
Vaguely?
vaguely.
No?
Yeah. I know
You
if
remember
I saw him.
Choctaw?
No, I do remember
yeah.
Choctaw. I know if I saw you, Josh, I would remember you.
Yeah. So Cup has the best hand with just King 9. You guys are chopping. Daryl's got 50% equity, needing a 6 or an 8.
7 folds.
6 or an 8. And
We believed him.
yeah, he's like, and what Daryl does so well is pick up, and this is like the 4th time I've said it in this broadcast, pick up those pots that nobody wants.
Yep.
If you guys check to me twice,
I'm trying.
I'm going to
Throwing it
take
in
that
there.
pot away.
Yep.
So he really does a really good job of picking those spots, recognizing
Yes.
weakness, and taking advantage of it. Really good job, Daryl.
Yeah, and if you go to the start where Daryl started,
Mm-hmm.
was a stack of pink chips not very high.
Right.
And he has
was
very
3rd
slowly-
place at the table, but that's because everybody else was super low.
Right.
And
He's grown his stack. I remember sitting at this table and looking back over at him and thinking, wow,
wow,
he
where'd
really
those come
has-
from?
Yeah.
how do you do that? Tammy in the chat saying Eric's my hero.
Eric's my hero, too.
Ta-da. Now Cup has a good hand, a real hand in the blinds when
Yep.
it folds to him. You don't really have much of anything.
I don't.
So normally I would go like almost 3x from the small blind just because and I don't know how much he did raise because it happened so fast. I do. Some people don't like to move.
To move, yeah.
They're superstitious
Yeah.
or whatever. No, I don't. No, I'm winning right here.
Yeah.
I've had a player go, "Oh, I was doing great till you moved me." I
It's
didn't.
like your position is not changing at all.
No, it's not like I put you on the other side
Right.
of Megan or on the other
Right.
side of
The
Daryl.
cards are the same.
I physically moved you
Right.
3 feet
For the camera.
for the camera view.
Uh-huh.
But some people just get mad. And that's why I tell the dealers, don't make jokes at the table
Yeah.
because don't slow roll. Like I had to tell one of the dealers, it's not funny.
Yeah, it's not.
Because, when they were all into college, like, oh,
Yeah.
don't make it dramatic. Just pull off the Band-Aid like Scott did.
Yes.
Great job.
Yep.
They're trying to be fun, and
Yes.
don't do it because
Yeah.
somebody's going to lose that pot, and now they're mad, and you just gave them a reason to be mad at you.
Yeah.
So don't do that. And when I move them and they start losing, I gave them a reason to be mad at me. Oh, you moved me. Now I'm losing.
Yeah. Which is hilarious if you're not changing positions.
It really is. It's like all I did is ask you to slide over and use this key. But I want him centered in this camera.
Yeah, which it makes him looks much better at this angle, yeah.
And what I do is I try to put him at 2, 4, 6, 8 so everybody gets their own camera.
Yeah.
And camera 5, if you're in 4, right here, 4 or 6, you get your 4 camera and you also get the 5 camera. So I want them to be in 4 and 6.
Yeah.
If I can.
Eddie
Then they
says,
get 2
ain't
cameras.
no pot getting checked twice with me in it.
Who said that?
Eddie.
Eddie, oh yeah, absolutely.
7 races to 12,000.
Absolutely. And then Byron said, I also played with Megan. I wasn't aware of her fame yet.
I don't know. About
She's
that.
selling autographs if you stop into the club later.
I've decided now I'm going to give me a Sharpie. I'll
Here we
sign your
go.
baby.
We got Megan with ace queen suited on the button.
Daryl
Raises to
with
12K.
7.
Daryl limps, and then you make it, you min click, and Daryl limps again. This is a great flop for Daryl.
It
He
is.
thinks there's only one overcard, but it's a great flop for Megan.
Yeah.
With 2 overcards and the flush draw. This is a really great flop for Megan. Now he takes away the betting lead. He donk bets into you, and a lot of people do that to set their own price, so they don't have to call. Now he's got an open ender and a pair, which is way ahead, and you brick. Luckily he checked it to you.
Yeah.
I think lucky for you, you checked it back because I think he was
Yep.
trapping on that one.
Yep.
With his.
Which he would very well would
yeah.
have got me there if I had.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Check
It's
it back.
super hard for me to fold the nut flush draw with 2 spades on the flop.
Yep.
4,000, 8,000, 8,000.
4,000, 8,000, 8,000.
Lines are going up like crazy, man.
Boom, 15 minutes. This is a turbo. And even with 19 players, what level are we in now? Can we see that? When next time we see that clock, let's see if we can tell what level that is. I think it has to be like the overhead shot.
Yeah.
That's 8,000.
There it is, level 13. So what's 12 times 15?
So I'm gonna have to bring up the calculator. I can't do that kind of math in my head.
12 times 15 is 180 minutes divided by
Divided by
63 hours.
Okay.
So we are just 3 hours plus some breaks.
Okay.
So we're just about maybe 3.5 hours into this tournament, which is why we are streaming it, because it starts at 1 o'clock. So it's like 4 o'clock now. And I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and stream this so I can test my new camera angle. And in 2 hours, Next Gen's coming in to play their $2,500, $1,500
yeah.
game. So this will definitely be over in 2 hours.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
That'll be fun to watch too. That Next Gen.
yeah,
Those guys are cool.
super fun.
9 all in. 24,000.
All in with Queen 9 off. And it
I
looks like
I
the
love
runs-
it under the gun.
Yep.
Because he has to pay the big blind and the ante next hand. When I get short stacked, I just shove all in under the gun without looking, and I specifically don't look because I don't want to call an audible and back out of my
Yep.
plan that I know I have to do. And that's why you just rip it with Queen 9 when you only have 3 big blinds. If he would have waited one hand, he would have to put half his stack in
Yep.
the middle
He would have lost a lot.
and only get paid on the other half of his stack.
And now his blinds are paid.
Yep.
From that last scoop. Yep.
Now he can pay that. He's got 4 big blinds after he puts in his ante instead of just 1. So that was a really good theory-based shove
Absolutely.
without looking at your cards. If it happens that somebody wakes up with a hand and calls you, now we're 60-40 and you might get lucky.
Yep.
So plan A is everybody folds. Plan B is you get lucky.
Yep.
I rely on plan B too much.
I always tell people I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week.
I was playing with a guy, and I said, "Are you good or lucky?" He says, "I'm good and lucky."
Oh, man.
This is a great flop for Daryl, obviously. He's got a set. Mark just shoves because he has a pair. It's the first time he's seen a pair. And he goes, I'm drawing dead. I need 7-7 to win, 9-9 to chop, 5-5 to chop. Now I'm drawing dead. Game over. Good game. And he actually lasted longer than I thought he would have.
Yeah.
When you guys gave him the $200, he only had 3 big blinds. He tripled up.
He did.
And then blinded away, and then he won again, and then he blinded away. So there's the new payouts. $850 up top, $520 for second. I think it was originally $950 up top and $380 for third, and $570 for second. Megan down to the bottom now, 117,000. Robert Cup with 261,000. Megan on the button with Queen 7 suited. There's a dead small. He's like, nobody's got money in this pot. You guys just fold, and I'll just take it.
Give me the blind back.
Just give me the blind back. And you're like, no, I'm not going to play with that.
Oh, same hand. Look at
So
that.
you did just limp again.
Yep.
On the button in position.
7 bets, 8,000, 3 calls.
I like the lead, but now I'm afraid that he has something.
Yep. Look at that ace out there.
He has a heart draw. Now I've got 4th pair. Daryl could have easily bet right there.
Yep.
Pairs, each of them.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So it goes check, check, check.
Good hand.
Oh, man. Daryl slapped the table.
Yeah, it's only a $20,000 table.
Computer.
Yeah.
I remember you saying when we first sat down, listen,
Yeah,
this
this-
is my $20,000 computer.
That looks like a poker table.
It just looks like a poker table, and you guys better be careful.
Eddie says Eric is a luck box. I prefer to call it karma. I just live so pure that
He's
the
just
poker
such a good
gods.
person.
I am.
It has to come back to him somehow.
I am.
And I really let my stack get sucked out on me throughout this final table, you know? But I limped in places I shouldn't have. And
Right,
lost
right.
it
And
slowly.
that's why Eddie says don't limp.
Yep.
Even though
And
you're
he's
getting
right.
a good price, don't limp.
right, 100%.
Your stacks, what you lose is more important than what you could win.
Yeah.
Is something he says. He didn't come up with that, but he learned it and
Yeah.
passed it on, and I said that makes sense.
It does.
So
Absolutely.
and you can see specifically in your situation where you had 200, which was, remember, 100 big blinds an hour ago, and now you've got like 120,
Yep.
and it's 15 big blinds.
Yeah.
So what you lose is way more important than what you could win.
Very true.
I don't know if I'm going to
It's like,
switch,
it's like
but
Eddie is, he's got some good advice or
Eddie,
something.
Eddie's a studier. He just started playing a couple of years ago, and he just dove headfirst into the book side of poker, and so he learned all of the GTO, game theory,
Yeah.
optimal. What should I do in this situation with this? And he studies all of the range charts and everything like that. I'm more feel based,
Yeah.
and I can't really quantify what I'm doing. I just go, this feels right to me.
Mm-hmm. I do follow my gut sometimes. Sometimes it's truly paid off, and sometimes it's kicked me in the butt.
Yeah. Here's a really interesting one. Cup hits bottom pair, which is the best hand, but Daryl's got an open ender. You really have no part of this, so you're out of this hand. It's basically between Cup and Daryl.
Yeah.
And it's Daryl's to take right now. I'm surprised Cup is calling. It's hard to make a pair, but against Daryl,
Yeah.
you don't know how aggressive Daryl is because he looks super tight.
Yes. He does look
But
super tight.
watching this now, you're going, wow, he was making moves.
Yep.
Now Daryl's way ahead.
Yeah.
Top pair, open-ended. Robert's got bottom pair and a gut shot. He needs an ace, a 6, or a king. Doesn't get it. And Robert picks a weird time to check on that turn.
Yep.
Unless he's checking to trap and hope, or excuse me, Daryl picks a weird time to check.
Yeah.
Unless he's hoping that Cup bluffs the river.
5 folds.
Don't limp shorthanded unless your head's up.
Yeah. Eddie,
Agreed.
I'll be here till this is over, and I mean, if you're not going to be too long, I'll hang out.
Do you have a date?
We're going to a friend's house to watch the UFC fights tonight, but that's not till
Oh,
later.
who is?
Me and Ira.
You said Ira. I thought you said Eddie.
I did. Well, Eddie said, "How long am I going to be here?"
Oh,
He
I
asked-
missed that.
He said he's at lunch,
Okay.
and
I'm at lunch right now. How long are you going to be there? Okay. I thought you just randomly were
No.
going to go watch the fights with Eddie.
No,
you don't know
no.
how jealous I just was.
Oh, we would invite you if it was me and Eddie.
Right? That's what I thought. You're like, oh yeah, me and Eddie are going to go watch the fights,
no.
and
No, but but Eddie, if you're going to bring your butt up here, I'll hang out till you get here.
I mean, he's already eating lunch without me,
I know. How rude.
right? I invited him last night to Twin Peaks. He could have paid. Instead, Min had to pay.
Yeah, I did for y'all's credit card roulette. I always love those videos.
It's so fun.
Fun to watch.
Min hates the game.
But he plays it anyway.
Not anymore. He said last night was his
Oh,
last
he's
one.
out
He's like,
on
I'm
it?
serious. I'm serious. I'm done. And we laughed at him. No, I'm serious. I'm done. I'm done. He used some expletives and
Does
said we
it
could.
get
we-
to him a little too often for his liking?
He's probably second worst at the game. Eddie's the worst, and Min is the second worst. I run pure. I've only paid once outside of IHOP. I lose all the
Wow.
IHOP ones.
So you're
know.
just steady getting free dinners off of these
Yeah.
folks.
I haven't bought groceries since August, and I'm not kidding.
No, I know you're not kidding.
I mean, when they gave me this job offer, I didn't know free food came with it.
Yeah, right. It's just a perk of the job.
Oh, here. So what I had to do, this is technical stuff, where he deleted Mark's name, so he didn't show up in the leaderboard payouts.
Okay.
So I have to put Mark back in and then have him lose the hand so that he can be on the leaderboard.
I did see Mark's name pop up.
Yeah, and I just said, okay, you have one chip,
Yep.
and so he's going to be in this hand, because I'm figuring out why isn't it there, and I went in and looked, and I realized, oh, Min deleted. Don't delete
Yeah.
people. I want to see them.
And
in
see, I have a
payouts.
hard time folding King 8.
'Cause it's a king. It's the best
Well,
hand.
and King 8.
And then you get rewarded like that.
Well, and that's Katie's hand, too. And
Kate.
I don't know if you know how obsessed I am with Katie, who is a dealer here.
Katie's game.
Yeah, her game. She's awesome.
great.
She's the best. And she is. They put a bounty on King 8 at one point. If you won with King 8 during Katie's game, which is her hand, you
I
would
love
get a
that.
T-shirt or a.
And you know why it's your hand?
Kate. King
Yeah,
8.
okay,
Kate,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and so she's the reason I play King 8 these days. If it doesn't cost me too much, I'll
Fun.
see King 8. So.
I love it. Katie's great.
She is great. She's fabulous.
She's one of the first people I met. It was funny when I was teaching her how to run action, or when I was running Action Tracker in February when I first set this up a year ago. Before I worked here, they flew me down from Minnesota to set everything up for them, and I was teaching them how to run it. And specifically, Katie, when she would deal, we didn't have the headphones, and I said, just announce the action to me. And she, foul, I'm like, what are you saying? Oh, I forgot I'm talking to a Yankee. I said 5 folds, and I said 6 calls. And I was
You
like,
got to translate to Minnesota.
I'm like, I cannot understand you at all.
7 checks.
Oh, that's so funny.
3 bets, 18,000, 7 folds.
How much time we got left on this one?
Oh, it's not much.
10.
Half
26
hour?
minutes?
26 minutes?
Yeah, 3:15. I'll be here, Eddie.
Well, 3 o'clock, the $300 tournament starts. 30K starting stack, 30-minute levels. Yes, please. Thank you.
No, I'm okay actually. Thank you.
Right? Like look directly into the camera.
And guess what happens in 48 seconds? Blinds go up.
Oh man.
7 folds.
And just to reward these guys who are still watching, I'm gonna pull up Streamlabs, add points, 3,000.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
Minimize. Cup with pocket kings in the big blind.
23,000.
That's way too much.
Yep.
Blinds. It's a full 3x. He shows kings. That's so strong.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of anything. I would like a min click.
And I started the shuffle. Next hand.
He said, it's off my shuffle, min. And I was okay with that because I was the big blind. Let's leave it 8 and 8 for a second.
So any purist watching, the audio is not synced with the video.
Yes.
So when he said it was off my shuffle, he really had not started shuffling yet.
Right.
So if you watch the lip movement,
It
it's
is
a
off
few
just
seconds
a little
off.
bit. Yeah.
And again, that's a software setting that
7 checks.
I didn't bother to fix before this because it's really irrelevant.
I checked that. Megan. Oh, see. Megan now doesn't like that move.
5 check. 7 says all in.
Rip it and grip it.
3 folds. 5 folds.
And you pick up the blinds and antes up to 16
And
big blinds.
I'm getting a little nervous at this point just because my stack has gotten.
You really is. Now, this is November, December, January. This is about 2.5, 3 months ago. You've learned a lot since then.
I
In
have.
just the last couple
I've
months.
played a lot since
Yeah.
then too, which is
We've been running really great tournaments here at Poker House
yes,
Dallas.
100%.
And
have-
$100 buy-ins
Yep.
on Monday and Wednesday. $125 buy-ins on Sunday that we're playing right now.
Yep.
The $100 buy-in on Saturday night at 10
Yep,
o'clock.
the
You're a big fan
Insomniac.
of that
I
one.
love that one.
So we're giving recreational players.
Yep.
And I like that word better than amateur players because
Yeah.
we're all amateur players, whatever. But recreational players doesn't sound as insulting as always an amateur.
Right.
Recreational players who have a day job.
Yes.
It's actually less than 2 months ago, November,
3 says 21,000. 7 folds.
December, January. It's more than 2 months ago. This was November, whatever Sunday this was.
It was before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was before Thanksgiving. I'm gonna pull up my thing because I named it, or I
And you know,
videos.
I've ran pretty hot the past couple weeks here, but I've been able to build any sort of skill set that I have.
Yeah, this was
Here.
11. This was November 13th.
Okay, so beginning of November.
So yeah, it's 2.5 months.
Yep. Yeah, no, I owe everything I've learned to those exact tournaments you just talked about.
And it's just experience.
For sure.
It's just repetitive, and there's a gap there.
7 folds.
Thank you, Amber. I got my coffee. So
7 folds is 10.
when the internet got shut down in 2012, there was a gap there where people could not play so often. You know, prior to 2012, from like 2003 to 2012, and even before 2003, but 2003 is when it started getting bigger and bigger with the moneymaker boom. What year were you born?
94.
Okay, that's beautiful. My daughter was born in 95, right? I started dating my wife in 91. So, so that's just funny. So that was, you know, just like you were 5 when poker started becoming more mainstream.
Yep.
And you were like 7, 2003 is when Moneymaker won off of an $88 satellite. He won a $10K buy-in
Wow.
to the World Series of Poker
Yep.
when there were hundreds of people instead of thousands of people.
Right.
And he ended up winning it. That was the first year we had hole cards.
Yep.
If you go back and look at that, you want to see the evolution.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
See
There
where
was
it
no
actually
chip
started.
stacks.
Wow.
There was no action.
You could just see
It
the
was
cards.
just, this is what their cards were.
Yeah.
And we were so thankful to have that.
Yeah, right.
And that's what blew up poker. And then it got progressively better and better and better, obviously, over the last 20 years.
Yep.
7 checks. That was a check, right?
But when the internet got shut down in 2012, internet poker, people were really, really good at playing shorthanded
Yeah.
because they got to do it 3 or 4 times a day. You're making it to a final table, or you're jumping in a sit and go and stuff like that. But there was a gap there where people didn't have that opportunity, and after a few years of people not having that, they got really bad at playing shorthanded
Yeah.
because they would pay the bubble and they would chop and they would do all this stuff, and they never got the experience to play shorthanded. And now, or play tournaments at all. And now that we have so many small buy-in tournaments, people like yourself are getting better at tournaments again. They're going, oh, I'm experiencing this. And a 20-person tournament, you get the whole tournament shorthanded.
Yeah, exactly.
Until all of a sudden you have a full table, and
Yep.
then it breaks down really quickly.
Yeah.
So you get more experience playing shorthanded now.
Chicago accent?
Chicago. We got all kinds of fun accents up here in Poker House.
This is a mecca. Somebody said that this was, and see, now Mark's name is on there
Yep.
because I had to give him one blind, bust him out so that the computer would know who he was. Stuff we learned.
Five folds. 7 calls.
Are you guys going to play in the Insomniac tonight? You going to be around?
I don't know what my plans are.
Because that's what part of what makes that one so fun is that you guys jump.
I gotta tell you,
7 folds.
every table I'm at is the funnest table in the room.
Nah, well, not to toot your own horn.
We were, because I don't play that often, so
You
when I do
don't.
play, it's super fun.
Yeah, it is. No, I agree. You, Eddie, Min, I really enjoy playing with you guys.
Especially if we get to the same table.
Yes.
That's
It's
what
always fun.
I've got a group chat with Scott Friedman and Chris Larkin and Chris Lego.
I just recently met Scott. He's
And Eddie.
a good guy.
And we all made it to like the final table, and then they started the group chat after that and go, who would have known that was such a fun table? And then
Yeah.
Eric busted in fourth, and the table just, when he left, it just went,
Yeah, it just deflated.
and like, oh, who would have known Eric was the life of the table?
Yeah.
I said, well, I could have told you
Oh,
that.
I could have told you that.
10,000.
I just want to have fun.
Yeah, you guys are always a good time.
5 folds.
And you can see the delay between the time.
Uh-huh.
He says 5 folds, and then 3 seconds
And then he
later,
folds.
cup actually folds. So that's just a clarification for when he starts shuffling. He goes, I already started shuffling, and you're like, no, you didn't. Well, in 3 seconds he will, and the
Yeah.
sound is not synced.
Yep.
So, just something I wanted to point out. And here, Min hit go too fast, so we didn't see that graphic. Now we've learned wait until the cards are out and then hit go.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you hit go, it locks on his turn because it's
Uh-huh.
his action.
Yep.
I don't want to lock on Daryl. He's a good-looking gentleman, but I don't want to lock on him for 20 seconds
other
that I
action.
don't have to.
Yeah.
When I can be rotating.
Five checks. 7 checks.
You know what? I think real time, I fix the camera so that it goes there like that.
7 checks.
And then it screws up, so I hit it real quick, and I'm in the booth fixing stuff. If it takes a few seconds, this is the lockup that I was telling about, the glitch that we had to fix, and we don't fix it until 3 weeks after this tournament. And if it was on the delay, we wouldn't know this for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I'd go back here and fix it. But because of the delay, it's 15 minutes before it's actually fixed. And this actual is not bad because I see both players and I see the flop.
Yeah.
And so this
It's a full
specific
view.
camera isn't the worst.
True.
It's still horrible, but it could be worse. It could have been stuck on the seat, the 9 seat where nobody's at. It could have been stuck on that seat.
Sure.
And I don't get to see anything. And sometimes it would get stuck not during the transition, so you wouldn't know it was just stuck on one camera, and you didn't notice right away until you're like, I haven't moved off Daryl in 5 minutes.
Right. What's happening?
Hey, action's on Megan, and I'm still on Daryl. What's going
Yeah.
on? But the blinds are going up and up. You're down to 9 big blinds, 3-handed,
7 calls.
and there I fixed it. I used to. I was with some people. We were talking about short-handed play, or excuse me, short stack play. Megan is in the booth,
I am.
and we were talking about short stack play. And I said, I don't get short stack, so I don't have experience. And they laughed, thinking I was like, I'm badass Eric. I don't get short stack.
Oh my goodness.
And what I meant was I lose my chips before I get short stack.
Oh, okay.
If I get 15,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, I don't play short stack.
Yeah. And you don't. The few times I've played,
Yeah.
you really don't.
I'm like, let's
You'll make a move
let's
before
go.
you get short stack.
Yeah. And if you ever see me with 3 big blinds, it's because I had 20 and I lost to a guy who had 17.
Yeah.
And so I've got 3 left. I don't play short stack well.
You know what? That's true. Now that I think about that, the few times I've played with you, I
You're
can't
like, God,
confirm.
he's shoving hard.
Yeah. And you do. You put me in a position a couple of times. And that was one of those times where we had the same hand. And I thought, man, I would not have shoved with this hand, but I've got trip 10s. We both had 10s. You know I got to call him.
I have to call. I hate this,
Call
but I
him.
have to call.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this on min camera so that the people can see.
Hey, Scott.
There it is. Yes. Yeah, for those of you who missed the beginning of the stream, I was Rodrigo and Iliad are commentating on our past streams in Spanish.
Which is so cool.
I love that
So
idea.
cool.
I
Yeah.
love it. And we're in Texas.
Yeah.
Half of the population is
Yes.
half of the club is bilingual.
Yes.
They're also going to, in a couple of weeks, have an entirely Latino speaking table cash game.
Dealers, players,
Dealers,
everything.
commentators, players,
That'll be very cool.
Everything. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, for sure.
They did it the first time Tuesday, I think, and somebody asked how they did, and I went, if you don't say más cerveza, por favor, I don't know what you're saying.
What's going on,
right?
yeah.
I can count if I start with uno, dos, tres, I can get to 10.
Right.
But if you say, you know,
Anything else.
5 raises.
I don't know.
20,000.
Oh, so to finish that story, I was going through old broadcasts and I found this one that we had never used. And so I talked to Megan and I said, I'd love to have you in the booth if you want to come in and commentate over an hour and 45 minutes of your final table,
Yeah.
Deepstack Turbo. And she said, I'd love that
Yeah.
idea.
Super fun.
And we were both free this morning. Cup!
There he is. Good morning, sunshine.
Well, check your messages. Check your messages. I wanted you in here with me.
Yeah.
20,000.
Cup, I miss you, buddy. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hopefully we run into each other here
Are you in
soon.
town or are you in California? Back to the action. Megan has middle pair. Robert Cup in the chat now bets 20K with King High. Well, Poker Monkey, I went to bed about 6:30. How's that make you feel?
Just got on. How many times have I made blunders already?
We have decided you were the most experienced player at the table.
Yes.
And Megan was happy she was on your left
Yes.
because you were making moves. Just like here, you stole pots that you didn't deserve
You sure did.
quite often.
You sure did.
And Megan cannot wait for a rematch.
I can't. Give me my chippies back.
All right. Cup's on his way back here. He'll be at Poker
Awesome.
House tonight.
Very cool.
Poker Monkey says you made tons of blunders. Tons. So we are down to 3-handed. They did agree to pay the bubble.
Which Eric was not happy about.
Not happy.
7 raises all in.
And he was correct. We should have just waited it out.
He had 3 big blinds.
3 big blinds.
Megan was in third place with like 400 big. Just kidding.
Oh,
but
all
she
in.
did. You did
is
have
this where
40.
is this where it happens? This is where I lose my luck.
This looks like a hand Cup is going to defend.
Yeah.
King 8 suited for 6 big blinds.
Yep. He's gonna call me here, I think.
I think he does. And Cup asks for a
61.
60 more. The chip stacks were off because of those few hands where the blinds were not updated.
Yep.
So you actually have 60 more. It says you have 53 more, but you actually have 60,000 more to call. And Cup makes the call.
Yep.
He does tank. You put him in a situation.
I did. I made him think about it.
Well, he's got 227, and what he's probably thinking about is, do I want to give Megan another? He does fold.
What?
Wow.
That wasn't the one.
Wow.
He gave me some credit there.
Well, I think what he's thinking is, I've got her on the ropes.
Yeah.
I don't want to give her any
More ammo.
more chips to do. So the blinds are up again. 10,000, 15,000 with a 15,000 big blind Annie. Megan with pocket eights.
Oh,
Rips
she
it.
did again. Yeah.
Daryl easy fold. Now Robert looks at you. He's
Ooh.
like, I can't fold you twice. You can't do that. I can't just give you the blinds twice.
Yep.
And you're in way better shape now than you were then.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably what he's thinking. Number one, if I fold again, I'm never going to see a flop.
Yeah.
She's just going to start ripping it and pick up the blinds, blinds and annies, blinds and annies, blinds and annies.
Call. There
He
it
does
is.
eventually call.
Eights.
And it's a race, 50-40, 53-47. He's like, all right, nice hand. Maybe you weren't thinking.
Nope. There's the king.
Bam, right on the flop.
Yep.
Nails it.
Yep. Yeah.
And he ends up with a straight.
Yeah. There you go.
Two are just big blinds.
So that's it.
Can't be big blinds.
That's it.
All right. I'm going to give you guys, for still watching with us, another 1,000 points.
Right. So you'll be big blind this month.
Okay.
What? Yeah, because
There
it
you
was just
go.
big blind. You can't be big blind 2 times in a row.
That's right, Scott. Can't be big blind 2 times in a row.
Be big this month.
That was a fun game.
Small 4.
Now, these guys play for another 8 minutes.
Let's see what happens here.
Ready?
This is
Because
a
I didn't stick around to watch. So
no.
I'd be
This is a benefit of, like, when I'm watching live, it could go in for another 3 hours.
Right.
I don't know.
right.
During a tournament, and sometimes we're sitting here commentating and they both got 30 big blinds and we're saying, my goodness, this will last forever. And then it goes, aces against kings, boom, 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 hands done. I'm like, oh wow, we're done.
That's it.
And that happened Wednesday
Yeah.
when Danny had all the chips and she just got sucked out on 2 hands in a
Yeah.
row, and all of a sudden, boom, she's out in 3rd place.
Yeah. That was
And-
crazy. I was on
Yeah,
that team.
and then it was over. We were
was over.
3-handed with a ton of chips.
Yeah.
Danny takes 2 bad beats.
Yeah.
And you and
Reesh. Yeah.
go, I got stuff to do in the morning.
Yeah.
Let's just chop
It was
it.
1 a.m.
3,500 apiece.
Yeah.
And that shows how much better our tournaments are. Was
Yeah.
that Wednesday?
That was Wednesday.
That was
yeah.
Katie's game.
That was Katie's game.
With record-breaking
Yeah.
196
yeah,
entries.
almost 200 entries. Yeah.
10 times bigger than this field.
Yeah.
10 times bigger.
That's crazy.
And instead of $330 for 3rd place, you chopped for 3,300, 10 times as much. That's awesome. And
I'd call that progress. I think.
you got 3rd place last week in Choctaw.
Yeah.
675 is 13.
That's super fun. Now, the ending is because of my love for Daryl. So what they do is they modify the payout first.
Okay.
Let's listen to them.
Yeah.
It's just 50. It'll be $70. All right, it'll be 15,
So they're
15,
playing. They're gonna play.
They're
for the
gonna
last.
they're gonna chop it and then play for the change.
No, I thought it was the opposite.
Okay.
650. Playing 470.
And I tried to do that with men recently. We made it heads up in a pineapple tournament.
Yeah.
And I said, look, let's play for, and it was a pretty big pot. And I said, let's chop and play for like 300. And he was like, no.
Me
So
and
we just chopped it.
7 seconds.
oh, you chopped
We
it?
did. He did. He asked me.
What a coward.
5 chickens.
And because it's men, I said, you know, and it was one of those things. It was late. It was
Yeah.
midnight. And so we just did it. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, you guys have made me stubborn to that now. I don't know that I'll do it that much anymore.
Here's
5 check.
without
Said 15,000.
repeating myself too much. If you keep chopping, you'll never get to play
Yep.
shorthanded.
Yep.
And you won't know how to play shorthanded. And right now, Cup's saying, "Oh, Daryl wants to chop and go,
Yeah.
you know, and it's only for $500. Let's just go." Yeah, and he's like, "I don't want to play for fun. I want to."
Yeah.
So they chopped it, and they both made three. And you might be thinking, "It's $300. I'm not going to waste my time. I got stuff
Yeah.
to do tomorrow, right?" But what do you do when you're playing at a WSOP,
exactly.
or when you're playing a
Yeah.
run good event,
Yep.
and you're playing you're playing a big event,
Yeah.
and it's not for $300.
No,
it's
you're
for
right.
what if you're playing Danielle's birthday bash and it's
Yeah.
$52,000
No,
for
you're
first place,
100%
and you don't know how to play because you've never been there.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, this is me learning too. I've
Yep.
never been in those positions
Exactly.
yet. You know, and I'm getting there to where I'm getting in these positions and kind of understanding that that's the benefit.
And so when we get there, I don't want to lose that experience. I don't care about the $300.
It's not really the money at
I
that
want
point,
I
yeah.
want to put you in tough spots. I
Yeah.
want to be in those tough spots so that now I know
Absolutely.
when it matters. I know how to do that because I've been there. I've done that.
You know what
and-
that's supposed
and
to
we're
look
good
like.
to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's specifically why I don't like chopping.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the $150.
Yeah.
at
No,
all.
and that's a good point. That's a great point.
You can't buy that experience.
No. And then, you know, to the point of Katie's game this past Wednesday, that was $1,000 both of us left on the table. you know?
Exactly. Poker Monkey says he chopped the WPT final table, got more than second, less than first. 3 of us. I won't do that again. I'm playing to the bitter end.
Yeah.
5 checks.
That's my motto. And
25,000.
they both hit their ace, king,
Oh,
queen.
uh-oh.
All they need is one card over a 6, and they chop it.
Yeah.
Raise all in.
That's a call.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's taking so long. He's like, I've got an ace. Your head's up with top pair.
6, ace 5.
I don't see a scenario where we fold this.
7% chop.
Scott even calls the percentage on the chop.
Top it up. Keep your money in front of you guys.
Yeah, there it is over the 7 hits.
As
Chop-
long as
chop
a
it.
6 or a 5 doesn't come out, it's a chop.
Yep.
So,
How do I get extra 1,000?
and yep, the ante.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 15,000
Yep.
big blind ante gets chopped. So the button gets an extra 500. This is super fun. I'm glad I
This is
found
so
this. I'm
fun.
glad you were available to come in.
Thank you for the invite. This has been quite an experience.
Just a bonus stream.
Yeah.
See, Scott's still shuffling and everything off to the side. That was before he realized the sensors are not turned on until I
Yeah.
hit go. So you're fine right there.
Oh,
You don't have to
okay.
be
Is that
all
what that
awkward
was?
off to the side.
Gotcha. Okay.
I actually was action tracker for Stacy last night, and I said you don't. She would do the flop over here on the side and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
then put over. You do it right on top. She's
Yeah.
like, "When did that change?" I said, "I don't know who told you differently."
Right,
That's
yeah.
that's
That's always
never been a thing.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I thought we couldn't do it there." I'm like, "No, you're fine. Just put it right there. You're fine." See, I like a raise by Daryl with king high
Yep.
heads up, and that's stuff you learn by
And-
playing heads up.
I've watched a lot of heads up play more than I've played heads up in true value tournaments like this. And so I do know a little bit on that end, but I need to experience it a little bit more.
And now you hear him. Let's call it.
Even chop.
They said it's 5 o'clock.
Let's do it.
They've
Yeah.
been playing for 4 hours. Chop it up. Even chop. We're done.
There it goes.
That's it. They're done.
That's it.
And they're like, it's 5 o'clock. And that's what I like about the Turbo is you start at 1 o'clock, you're done in 4 hours with 19 players.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so quick. It still took 4 hours.
Still a decent amount of time.
It's still
yeah.
with the 30K starting stack. It's still a really decent tournament.
Yeah.
For $100 buy-in, $125 buy-in, and that's it, guys. We play tournaments, Josh, every day of the week, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday, and just pop out here. I'm gonna go max camera this thing. Poker Atlas. Download the free app, Poker Atlas. Find out what we're doing today. What's today? Saturday.
Today is Saturday.
Today's a great tournament. It's one of our more expensive ones. It's a $300 buy-in. Starts at 3 o'clock with a 30K starting stack and 30-minute levels. We were just telling you how good the 15-minute level was. This is 30-minute levels.
Yep.
So this one will go late.
Yep.
We will stream the final table, and it will get done about 11 p.m. To midnight, depending on how many people are in there and who makes it to the final table and whether or not they chop stupid stuff like that. You can tell I love chopping.
Yep.
I'm
Your
not a
favorite thing.
fan. I'm not a fan. Let's play. That's it, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
This
being
was
here.
fun.
I appreciate it. Are you playing today?
Not today.
'Cause
Not
you're gonna
today.
go watch
We gotta
UFC
go. Yeah, I'm gonna wait
without
for Eddie.
me.
I know without you. I'm sorry. Next time, I promise.
Who's fighting tonight? John Jones?
I honestly have no idea. It's
man.
the guys are kind of the big UFC people, and the girls just kind of there to hang out.
Back in the day, I knew all about UFC. Before I started touring around the country, putting on poker tournaments in 2012, it was very small, and then I got away from it for a couple of years. And when I came back, I didn't recognize anybody.
Yeah.
It looked like college football. I'm like,
Right.
who's Iona? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know any of these guys. It was crazy. But I was watching with, Hoist Gracie and, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Because I'm really old.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. Thanks for being here for the entire 2-hour
Yeah,
broadcast.
this was fun. Great to talk to you, Captain Underpairs.
Super
Hope to
fun.
see you soon.
Yeah, and we do have a $100 buy-in tournament tonight at 10 o'clock p.m.
Yep.
20K starting stack, 15-minute levels. Registration open until midnight, and that one goes until about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Randy Couture is awesome. Love Randy Couture, the natural. He's a fighter that you've never heard of.
Yeah, no.
He's phenomenal. He retired and then came back in as a heavyweight because he looked at the people in heavyweight and goes, none of those guys can beat me. So he retired as a light heavyweight, which is 205. Saw heavyweight and goes, dude, I see nothing in your heavyweight. I'm gonna come back and fight at 230 pounds, and he beat up everybody.
There you go.
And he was old. He was old when he started.
Wow.
They said, hey, they say you're too old to do this. He goes, I was too old when I started 10
Right.
years ago.
And he's still
they,
winning
they
somehow.
keep telling me I'm too old. He was fighting when he was in his 40s.
Wow.
A really great guy.
Very cool. I'll have to
that's
ask
it,
Ira
guys.
about that one. He's very knowledgeable.
Randy
in the
Couture.
UFC. Randy
Perfect.
Couture.
All right. We will see you guys tonight at the $300 Deepstack final table.
Beautiful.
Say goodnight.
Bye, guys.